for some peace of mind, but TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat, and someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line, and Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Yeah, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave. I'm just
Hey, you guys, it's Mo. It's Wednesday. We didn't do Cosplay Wednesday because honestly, you guys, yesterday turned out to be an ish show and really good at the same time, which is kind of how most days are, like a box of chocolates, the hours. You know, you never know what you're going to get. I basically got out of my neighborhood to go to the dentist and was behind three people that slid off. We're in a fairly hilly part of Indiana. So I was the fourth in a line of, well, three cars that slid off the road. Now, we were very close to a little water department. So, there was a guy there that was like, hey, we have tractor, we'll pull you out. I decided to call the dentist office and turn right around after I made sure everyone was okay. I mean, and we were really lucky that it wasn't, you know, a deep ditch or anything or the steep hill. But having, you know, seen everyone else do that, I was just like, no, I will call and reschedule. So I didn't do that. But then my middle daughter had her senior night. Now, not having been an athletic child in my high school days, I had no idea that this was a thing. So I didn't know that there was like a day where, or I guess a meet where all the high school seniors in a certain sporting thing would get recognized. So I tried to tell Mr. Mo, because I've been to her diving meets at our local, you know, swimming pool. And I was like, okay, you need to dress in layers. It is hot as all Hades in there. It's like 90 degrees with 90% humidity. So we get there and it is hot. And poor Mr. Mo stabbed himself because the parents who got all of this stuff together made senior night incredibly great, but we weren't maybe aware of all the things. So he stabbed himself trying to put a boutonniere on. I wasn't aware that we were going to be taking pictures. So, you know, none of the parents were aware that we were like going to be in the yearbook. And I thought I'd gotten over my weird kind of social anxiety. No, when you're in a pool, like holding your, you know, with your arm around your daughter and, you know, trying not to notice the sweat like all over you. And you're like, I was not informed there were going to be pictures taken. Look, also when I am president, no Speedos, no Speedos. Look, it is a weird thing to be a parent and in no way, you know, wanting to look at student Speedo areas, but look, they're just going to be outlawed. They're going to be outlawed. I don't think anyone looks good in Speedos. I think that the long shorts are fine. No Speedos. No Speedos. I can't. Because let's just say some of the guys had, look, my middle son has junk in the trunk, okay? But there were some badonkadonks that were not covered, and I am not here. I don't want to see Speedos. Regardless of age or gender, I just don't want to see them. So there you go. That's kind of what I was doing last night. And poor Mr. Mo, this man has known me for darn near 15 years. Now, he has expected me, because I have watched my daughter dive for 3 years, that I know what's going on. So he's like, oh, what is she doing? And I'm like, diving. And he's like, oh, what's it called? I was like, a triple Lutz with a toe loop. And he said, that's skating. I was like, yeah, I know. I have no idea. And I felt so bad because, look, my daughter is amazingly brave, because let me tell you, like, what is an introvert's nightmare? Basically standing on a diving board with everyone quiet, watching your ass as you're trying to do something physical, or maybe that's just my nightmare. But she did a great job and, had a wonderful senior night. I just wish she had informed us that we were going to be taking pictures, which, would have, not that it would have changed anything. I think we would have just both, not have worn like the most comfy clothes we could find. But let's get into the news today. Oh, another slight housekeeping thing. So looks like Brian Walsh is tomorrow. Looks like they pushed it back, maybe to give more time for victim impact statements. I am not quite sure. So we are going to be starting at 10:30 today, a rewatch, because this trial has already been done and over with. But the boyfriend beheading trial, Nevada versus Devin Michaels or Mitchell's. We'll have to wait. So that's where we're going to look, because I was like, OnlyFans, beheading your boyfriend to date his son sounds like a Petty Express case if I've ever heard one. And it keeps me from my big thing that is around the holidays. I do not want to do any kid cases. So while it might tangentially involve children, it is not a child case. But as for other housekeeping, it's the 17th of December, and we have an Advent story for you. Because, let's start off with at least a little bit of absurdity before we get into the headlines of absurdity.
2025 is nearly done, so grab your cocoa, here's the fun. Every day's a brand new spree of what the hell absurdity. From runaway, Emma's on the loose, to news you swear was fake, but true. Mo's got the snark, you bring the tea. It's the WFC Advent Countdown with Mosh.
Oh, I was supposed to change the thing so you guys could see it. I'm a professional-ish here. I do my job semi-regularly. Well, it's not an emu or an ostrich on the loose, but sheriff's deputies help wrangle a loose kangaroo in Oklahoma. MG Law, I'm looking at you. You know what we say, always safely store your semi-automatic kangaroos. Now, I have a couple of questions. I thought with Tiger King, we all kind of understood that maybe getting wild animals as pets was a bad idea. But there you go. If Valhalla truly wants to have his, man versus kangaroo fight, we might be able to set this up if he wants to go to Oklahoma. Authorities in Oklahoma got a taste of the outback when they helped wrangle a kangaroo on the loose in Tulsa County, as you would naturally assume all kangaroos in Tulsa County would be wrangled. The Tulsa County Sheriff's Office said on social media that the kangaroo, which deputies later learned was named Martha, was spotted hopping loose on the road near the intersection of 171st Street South and Lewis Street. Now, the owner eventually learned of Martha's, flight and plight and arrived on the scene to help deputies capture, the loose kangaroo. She escaped from a property not far from where she was captured, the sheriff's office said, and she's safe now with her owner. I feel like you would need to get a very large fence to keep a kangaroo in. I don't know. Do you think they respond to electric fences? I mean, I'm not a I'm not a kangarooologist. I don't know. I never, pretended to be Crocodile Dundee or Steve Irwin. I have no damn idea, but you'd think you'd have to have a pretty good enclosure for a kangaroo. Hell, if Fry could get out of a kennel, I'm pretty sure a kangaroo can get out of anywhere. Well, in sad news, Gil Gerald, or Gerard, sorry, reading is fundamental and I can't. The actor best known for playing Buck Rogers has passed away at 82. Early this morning, my soulmate lost his life with a rare and viciously aggressive form of cancer. From the moment we knew something was wrong to the death or his death this morning were only days, announced his wife Janet on Facebook. Now it looks like he passed away on Tuesday. No matter how many years I got to spend with him, it would never be enough. Hold the ones you have tightly and love them fiercely. Janet also posted Gerard's own remarks in a separate post on his Facebook, adding that the longtime actor died in hospice care. Now, I don't remember Buck Rogers. It wasn't my jam, but it does feel a bit heartbreaking as, we continue to lose kind of these old Hollywood scions, these kind of golden age of Hollywood, heroes. It's a little sad. It's a little loss of an era that maybe I didn't even, live through, but it does feel sad, even if I wasn't really impacted by him personally. My life has been an amazing journey. The opportunities I've had, the people I've met, and the love I've given and received made my 82 years on the planet deeply satisfying, he wrote. My journey has taken me from Arkansas to New York to Los Angeles and finally to my home in northern Georgia with my amazing wife, Janet, of 18 years. It's been a great ride, but inevitably one that comes to a close as mine has. Don't waste your time on anything that doesn't thrill you or bring you love. See you out somewhere in the cosmos. Buck Rogers was based on Philip Francis Nolan's comic strip, which first hit U.S. newspapers in 1929 and followed the adventures of debonair NASA captain William Buck Rogers, who was frozen in May 1978 aboard his spacecraft and isn't discovered until 500 years later in 2491. He's revived to find out the world he once knew was destroyed in a nuclear war months after he was frozen. So, just hold your loved ones very close and very tight. It's a good reminder, and pray for his wife and his family members. Those first holidays without your loved one are just incredibly cruel. And I don't mean that in a terrible, terrible way. It's just, it's very cruel to see everyone else kind of celebrating the holiday when you have lost something very dear to you. And it's not that anyone goes out of their way to be cruel or mean to you, but it is very hard to put away your own feelings and try to celebrate or try to, not see other people being happy and just, not be able to deal with the holidays. So I do hope that she's getting the support and love she needs along with his family members and friends and, all of his fans. Well, unless you've been living under a rock. And yesterday, I kind of just took the day to step back. I don't know. You guys, I really tried, but Monday was hard. We're going to go on a little tangent, but I like being the person that brings you guys the news, but is able to put, a bit of a jokey spin on it. And Monday, I was handed like just the equivalent of that giant dinosaur pile of feces with corn in it. And it's a bit hard to kind of get your head around trying to put a positive spin on anything. So I did kind of need to take a day off yesterday. I'd already planned on taking the day off because of the dentist, and it was just a good thing. Sometimes you just need to take a time to recharge because it was, I wanted to give all of the headlines, the respect and solemnity that they deserved. But I also didn't want to leave you guys black-pilled. So it's a balancing act, and I don't mind doing it normally, but Monday was a lot to balance, and I am not Oprah, nor am I Jesus. So I did take a day to recharge, and I'm glad I did. But if you've been living under a rock, then you haven't heard the Rob Reiner stuff. But Rob Reiner's son, Nick, has been charged with the murder of both his father and mother and is being held without bail. Now, it's alleged that Nick fatally stabbed the director and his wife Michelle in their Los Angeles home. Now, Nick Reiner, 32, spent years in and out of rehab for drug addiction and is in custody and being held without bail. Now, he was detained Sunday evening after police discovered, the two decedents. Now, there are different kind of labels coming across, and I do want to say, keep a, grain of salt when you're hearing sort of the descriptions of how the bodies appeared, either slashed or hacked. Definitely I would wait until we get a probable cause affidavit released before you start listening and taking for gospel sort of these very salacious headlines. Treat it like any other case. Let's wait until this goes to trial or doesn't go to trial before we try to solve it. I mean, I think we've had plenty of examples this year alone of let's wait for all the facts to come out. Now, it does heartbreakingly seem that Romy, their daughter, was the one who found both Rob and Michelle in their home deceased. And she was the one that told police officers that she believed that a family member might be involved, probably pointing to her brother. Now, Nick has been open about his battle with both addiction and homelessness, and there did seem to be a bit of friction between the father and son, or at least stories and allegations of friction at a party this weekend. So I don't know what's going on. It does look like Alan Jackson is going to be representing Nick Reiner. It's his job to make sure that the state is held to their burden, that his constitutional rights aren't infringed upon. For him, for anyone else who hires him. Now, I don't know. This is a very recent case. I think it'll be interesting to see what the defense is going to be, if the defense is going to focus on mitigation from, drug use, but if you are consensual in basically if you're an addict and you are taking drugs to alter your state of mind, is that going to be something that is going to be brought up in the defense? And I think it's going to be interesting to watch what kind of strategy that Alan Jackson, if he does stay on this trial, brings forward. What I will say is that's going to be a delicate dance, because I think, unfortunately, everyone knows someone who has struggled with addiction or has lost someone who has struggled with some sort of addiction, or knows a family member. And this is not something that is, it goes beyond class and beyond financial sort of constrictions. It goes to every strata of society. So I think that leaning on that too much might not be the greatest thing when he had access to all of the benefits that, fancy rehabs and all of this. And I don't know how much sympathy he's going to garner. Now, this is just me from my personal perspective. I'm going to have a hard time feeling a whole lot of compassion for someone who, if he had wanted to change his life, if he had wanted to actually deal with his addiction, had every resource Money was not a question. He could have gone to an intensive rehab. He didn't have to worry about getting a job right after or supporting a family. I'm going to have a real hard time having compassion for him if he's just going to play the addiction card. Now, should I cover the trial? I will let you guys know that that is something that I will struggle with, but I will try to be as, ball and strike call as I can. I'll try to be as, that. But I'm going to have compassion fatigue if that is the way the defense goes. Now, Alan Jackson does strike me as someone who is able to read the room. So I don't know, and maybe he won't go that way, but I'm letting you know that I'm gonna have an issue with it. And thank you, Squaw Bob, for gifting a membership, and that went to Denise Sells. So congratulations. Welcome to the Church of Mo. We have dark chocolate, sarcasm, and, well, logic, which sometimes makes you sadder than you would think, but smarter than the average bear. It is sort of the gift that has a drawback and keeps on giving at the same time. So there might be an actual, diagnoses. So I do really hope that we get, a trial out of this and we get the answers, and that people do wait to get the answers before we start doing hot takes. But, this is the real world, not what Mo wishes would happen. So I'm sure political hot takes will abound, and, feet will be inserted into mouths because it is 2025. I did want to highlight this story. I know it's probably been covered from here to beyond, and I do apologize if you're hearing some sanding in the background. Mr. Mo is a man on a mission. He's got appointments, but he's like, I'm going to get some of the flooring done. So yay for him for motivation. Why he must always be motivated when I'm on stream is just one of those things. But I love to highlight and, really put out good stories. And here is a man who risked his life, who is an absolute hero. And, I may be a small voice, but I'm going to join my voice with others who have called this man a hero. A hero who disarmed one of the two gunmen at Bondi Beach told his cousin he thought he was going to die before taking on the attacker. Ahmed Al-Ahmed, a Syrian national who served in the police, said, I'm going to die, tell my family I saved people's lives, before he charged at one of the shooters and wrestled his rifle away. And thank you, High Priestess of Grievances, a member for 8 months. Congratulations. Love Mornings with Mo. You start my day. Well, thank you. I love starting. I'm just glad I get to spend time with you guys and hang out and go through the news. You guys, this is what I do. I bore Mr. Mo with Australian and British news all the time. He's like, I'm so glad you have friends you can talk to the news about. And thank you, Unbalanced Equation. Ooh, £2. I'm going to go get a Bakewell tart. I wish. They had Bakewell tarts from Mr. Kipling at my local Kroger, and then they didn't bring them back, despite me crying. And I do mean almost literally, well, not crying, but just sadly saying, but you don't have it ever again? And they're like, no, we don't have those things. No one really bought them. I'm like, no, I bought them. It was me. Somehow my, Bakewell tart protest in Kroger didn't work out as well as I thought. I was like, no, I have a plus card. I have a fresh idea card. I deserve respect. Somehow just never works out. Now, Mr. Al-Ahmed, or Ahmed, look, I am trying to pronounce this man's name right, but they spelled it differently here. So it's with an E here and then an A here. Anywho, regardless of E or A, This gentleman is a 43-year-old father of two who does remain in the hospital in critical but stable condition after undergoing a surgery for multiple gunshot wounds. Now, outside the hospital on Monday morning, Jose Alcani told reporters of his cousin's bravery, saying, he said, "I'm going to die. Please see my family and tell them that I went down saving people's lives." Mr. Ahmed's father said his son served with the police under Central Security Forces and had the impulse to protect people. Now, it's not clear if he had served in the police in Syria or in Australia. Mohammed Fayed Al-Ahmed said he saw people lying on the ground, blood everywhere. Immediately, his conscience and soul compelled him to pounce on one of the terrorists. "I feel proud and honored because my son is a hero of Australia." Now, a cousin of the hero said he saw people dying and their families being shot, and he couldn't bear to see people dying. It was a humanitarian act more than anything else. Now, he is the father of two young daughters who arrived in Israel from Idlib, Syria in 2006. Now, his parents only recently joined him in Sydney after years of them being separated. A GoFundMe campaign has been established for his recovery and raised more than 1 million Australian dollars, or 496,000 pounds. Wait, so it takes 2 Australian dollars to make a pound? I'm so confused. How is that in American money? Look, I'm glad they've got a GoFundMe. I don't know why I have gotten sidetracked into conversion, which involves math. Like, I know how to math. Like, I don't try to tell Mr. Mo that quad pay is in fact me only paying $25 every 2 weeks and not $100. Believe me, I have had this. Girl math doesn't work, but I am the only, Now, unfortunately and sadly, 15 victims lost their lives. The number of people who died was 16. That does include one of the assailants. I choose to use the number 15 for the victims that lost their lives for doing nothing other than celebrating on a beach. It's not Aleppo because it isn't. It's where in the heck is it? Idlib. So Idlib, and happy birthday, JKD Buck. 27 has never looked so good, though they will have to card you for Ultra Schmorn. I love Futurama. Well, in an interesting twist, and maybe something might actually be going on in this case. However, I don't know the effectiveness of going back to the house all these years later to try to collect more evidence, but it seems like they have. Investigators have returned to the Colorado home once occupied by the family of John Benet Ramsey and collected new evidence for testing, authorities have revealed. Now, each year as the anniversary of 6-year-old's death in 1996 approaches, the Boulder Police Department provides an update on the case, which they claim is both active and ongoing. Last year, we gave you an update about a lot of work that had been done to solve this crime, and those efforts were continued, Boulder Police Chief Stephen Redfern said in his update. This case remains top priority for our department. Now, Redford said that detectives within the last year have conducted several new interviews as well as re-interviewed individuals based on tips that they'd received. The new evidence has also been collected and tested, while older evidence has been retested in an effort to generate new leads and use new techniques and technologies that evolved, especially with DNA testing. So I believe he's alluding to a lot of the breakthroughs in recent cases that we've seen with ancestral DNA, going to those large, 23andMe and Ancestry.com databases where people stupidly give corporations and the government their DNA willingly, in fact, pay for the privilege for this company now to know genetically. Again, look, I know I might be a little too Rusty Shackelford, but the fact that my mother did this still confuses the heck out of me. She's obviously not watched enough King of the Hill. I think it will be interesting. I used to have no a dog in this fight. I used to think that the parents might have done it or the brother. Then I thought that might be someone else. And now I find that I just want to know who this monster was. I just want this little girl to be at peace and for someone to see justice. I don't care who it is. It's like the guy who had that island and that list that everyone's so afraid that's going to come out. I don't care who's on the list. Show me the monsters. Let's get them out. I don't care if they play for my team, your team, or the libertarians. Let's get them all out. I don't care. Let's just find the person. I don't care if we were all wrong and it was, MI6 and the CIA and MK Ultra got together. I just would like an answer. By the way, could we also figure out what happened in Las Vegas? Could we get any forward momentum on what exactly happened in Las Vegas? Just a thought. Now, it's never too late for people with knowledge of this terrible crime to come forward, and I do urge those responsible for this murder to contact us. So it does look like they are moving forward with sort of the, again, genealogy DNA that John Benet Ramsey has been urging them to do for a while. Whether this leads to any, groundbreaking revelations, I'm not quite sure. But it does seem like at least we have some forward momentum. And again, I would just like to know, and for this little girl to have peace, to make sure that the monster that did this, whoever did, gets found, or at least isn't able to hurt anyone else ever again. Yeah, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, I guess. We just, we don't have to know. Now, this would get you into Gitmo when I am president, because this woman is trying to denounce the sacredness of both a carbohydrate and the very important French toast makings with, storms and snow coming. There is first of all, you mess with bread, you mess with a carbohydrate, we're going to have a problem. Second, you mess with people's bread, eggs, milk, and, during a snowstorm, you're going directly to the center of the sun. A woman has been arrested after razor blades were found inside loaves of bread at a local Mississippi Walmart. Camille Benson from Texas was placed into custody by the Biloxi Police Department on December 16th and charged with attempted mayhem. I mean, that is something to put on your LinkedIn. I mean, how many people have been arrested for attempted mayhem? Now, surveillance photos of the 33-year-old who was seen roaming Walmart were released to the public before she was identified and placed under arrest. Now, customers reported finding razor blades in loaves of bread and banana nut muffins at Walmart on CT Switzer Senior Drive and the Walmart Neighborhood Market on Pass Road. Now, a report about the blades was first made on December 5th before another customer complained again 3 days later. A third sounded the alarm at a superstore on Sunday. Now, employees searched the merchandise and found several other products that had also been tampered with, and a public notice urged customers who had purchased, goods from the Walmart locations to inspect their baked goods, and report any findings. Now, there were no injuries reported at the time of this, at least, article, and thank goodness people check their bread before putting it in their toaster. Now, officials said that no other stores were believed to have been targeted. We have removed and thoroughly inspected all potential affected products that impacted stores in Biloxi and appreciate law enforcement for their swift action and will continue to cooperate with them as they investigate. Now, the statement added that the customer who believed they had purchased, a tampered product should dispose of it and visit their local Walmart for a full refund. Now, she is being held on a $100,000 bond, and it doesn't look like she has given a comment as of yet. So don't mess with people's food. Again, this is kind of like that guy who sprayed a bunch of Raid all over produce and chicken. Don't do that. It is a felony. It is considered terrible. Don't do that. Now, it didn't look like she was filming herself. It doesn't say that she's an influencer. So this woman is just, I mean, not that influencers should do this. What I'm saying is at least I can sort of make a logic tree between them wanting to do something absolutely late in French and, for clout. Like, I get the profit loss, I get the cost benefit analysis of being a jackass. This woman just wanted to be a jackass. And ma'am, it's called purple shampoo. I'm just throwing it out there. Well, Florida, you've outdone yourself. How in the hell does a doctor end up in a Dollar Tree freezer? Florida, God bless you. A Florida physician was mysteriously found dead inside a freezer at a Dollar Tree a day after she'd entered the store, according to a local report and her family. Now, the body of 32-year-old Mazel Gary Sanchez was found by an employee at a Miami Dollar Tree around 8 a.m. Sunday morning, according to Miami police. The young mother entered the store Saturday night but didn't make any purchases. Investigators said she found a restricted employees-only area where a freezer was located and stayed there overnight. Now, her body was found unresponsive by an employee the following morning. The circumstances surrounding her death remain under investigation as authorities confirmed that she was not an employee at the store. It's something painful, a heartbroken family, now because of the death of a person, and we don't know what truly happened, a customer told the local news. Now, Garay Sanchez was a devoted physician and beloved mother who was originally from Nicaragua. So it does look like this is very strange. There has been a GoFundMe set up by her family to, help with funeral costs. Now, the authorities did say they have ruled out foul play in her death, stating that she was not forced into the freezer. Yeah, there's a lot of questions about this one. Now, the Dollar Tree location has remained closed, at least it was until Sunday at 1 p.m., as police investigated, and Miami police said that they were speaking with the doctor's family as they continue to try to uncover the circumstances of her death and trying to establish whether she was dealing with any personal or mental health issues. Now, her passing has been treated as an unclassified death, and authorities aren't sharing any more details. Again, we'll probably get details if and when there is an autopsy. Now, in a good story, but also there is something hinky going on here. 2 middle school girls disappeared from a basketball game, and they showed up at a stranger's home the next morning. Again, it is a bit odd, this story, but I'm glad that these girls were found. Again, with all the stories I've covered this year, these girls being found safe and, going back to their families to celebrate Christmas is a best headline ever. But this one does seem a little weird. 2 missing 13-year-old girls were found safe after they showed up at a stranger's home in Colorado following their disappearance from a school basketball game. Now, 2 girls identified as Ava and Nellie were last seen at Egbert School on Monday, December 15th, around 5 p.m. local time. At least that's what the county sheriff said. They were attending the Colorado Springs School and were visiting the school for a basketball game. We're writing to inform you of a serious situation that occurred last night during our away middle school basketball game in Elbert School District said. 2 of our students left the Elbert campus before the game began, and their whereabouts remain unknown at the time. Now, at that time, Ava and Nellie, both middle school students, were wearing basketball clothes and backpacks. Now, the county sheriff added that the search, which involved drones, canines, ATVs, and people on foot, had been conducted within a 5-mile radius of the school and was called off for the evening. At a press conference on Tuesday, December 16th, an undersheriff said that the 2 girls had been located. They are safe, they're cold, and they're eating breakfast, Fisher said. Now, Ava and Nellie were medically evaluated and reunited with their families. Fisher said that the teen showed up at a stranger's home about 7 to 8 miles from where they disappeared on Tuesday morning. He fed the girls and kept them warm, calling the police. Now, Fisher noted that both girls are cross-country runners and that they did not have their cell phones when they disappeared, and it remains unclear as to why they went missing in the first place. But at least they're home, they're safe, and hopefully this was just stupid middle school kids doing something incredibly stupid, and they're grounded, but they're safe. And not something incredibly dark and ridiculous. But now we have the stories that will make you wonder, are we in the end times? Do you hope we're in the end times? Depending on how you're doing today, this hump day, you might be like, come on, asteroid. Or you might be like, yeah, we can wait a week. But I find the stories, you guys decide which way you're going with that one. Let's get him on. He is Final Form Jesus to, well, shake his finger and be disappointed at the headlines of 2025.
The key keep its grove, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, Final Form Jesus return in wrath. With six-pack glistening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Just say no. Can we just all agree that Oreos are bad? Look, Oreos are bad for you. No one eats a sleeve of Oreos and says, you know what? I feel good about myself. No, you eat Oreos, usually if you're me, in your bed, hiding them from your children and your husband. And then you feel deep shame because you ate an entire bag all by yourself of the double stuffed. Zero sugar Oreos. Look, I lie to myself about zero sugar, energy drinks. I lie to myself about, Coke Zero. I am not adding zero sugar Oreos to the lies I tell myself about being healthy. But, I will give them a try. I'll do anything for science, I guess. Is it possible for sugar-free Oreos to taste as good as the classic treat we all know and love? Well, after 4 years in the lab, Maldez is launching the eagerly anticipated zero-sugar Oreo in January, and truth be told, I didn't have my hopes up for much. Sugar-free products tend to taste, well, like gross. But 4 years couldn't be for nothing. Opening the single cookie package, I was... Well, it smells like a regular Oreo, according to this person. Apparently, it tastes almost identical to the regular Oreo. I'm still calling bullshit, and I am calling that if you like these and you eat these, y'all remember Olestra chips? Do I need to remind you of Olestra, like the Roto-Rooter for your intestines? I mean... As JKD Buck says, seriously, we don't need, may the odds be ever in your favor if you decide you like these. Now, it doesn't look like they used aspartame. It looks like they used maltitol, a sugar alcohol, polydextrose, and sucralose. Again, these are all still going to be things that might mess with your digestive tract. So if you're sensitive to any of these alternate sort of sweeteners, be careful. Be careful. Just, again, life in balance. Okay, eat your sleeve of Oreos, have your night of shame, and then go up and walk and get some more steps in. I don't understand the zero sugar Oreo, but there you go. I never have understood a lot of things. Well, you might want to be careful. If you take supplements from the interwebs, they might actually, those Mega Man, Vitality caplets might actually have Viagra in them. which you would think would be okay, except that I guess, if you're, not supposed to be taking Viagra and you do. Well, the FDA has announced an urgent recall of a male enhancement supplement after it was discovered that the product was tainted with two ED drugs that were not declared on the label. If you're buying male enhancement products at a gas station, beware. Beware. And live in life, I will check my email. I kind of disengaged from everything yesterday, so I will have to check my email. But I will check up and get back to you. I just kind of disengaged yesterday. Let's see. Stuff by Nanex LLC is voluntarily recalling all lots of Mr. 7 Super 700,000 capsules sold as a dietary supplement after testing showed that the product contained ED drugs, Synafadil and Tanadaf. Look, basically Viagra and Rivalto. So basically you were getting all of the Viagra Cialis powers multiplied together. And I'm pretty sure that ED drugs are not like the, heart, spirit, water, like the, all components of Captain Planet. I have a feeling that you're not supposed to tag team those. Now, basically, Mr. 7 Super 700,000 is not an approved FDA product and doesn't have its safety or efficacy, tested by the FDA. So again, if you are buying supplements at the gas station for your schmeckle, don't. Also, if you're buying, protective measures from a vending machine and a gas station, don't. Now, taking both of these drugs in combination can be dangerous for millions of Americans, especially if they don't know it's contained in these all-natural gas station pills, because it can cause a critical drop in blood pressure. So again, don't buy supplements at gas stations to take for your health. I mean, I'm over here, I'm always terrified of the hot dogs, let alone the vaguely natural, streetish, legal pharmaceuticals that they're selling. No, don't buy these. Just maybe don't. Well, I mean, I don't know if this is aliens doing a recon and realizing they don't want to talk to us, thereby establishing that the Fermi, equation is really just humans being obnoxious. It's not, the dark forest or, that societies tend to wipe out once they get, nuclear power. No, it's that we're ridiculous and the entire cosmos wants to avoid us, like I avoid, the ghetto Walmart. NASA has revealed new shocking details after losing contact with a Mars space probe nearly 2 weeks after it had a close encounter with the interstellar object known as 31 Atlas. On Monday, the space agency said that the MAVEN spacecraft went dark on December 4th while it was observing the mysterious visitor that NASA has declared a comet. Now, MAVEN had been orbiting Mars since 2014 and had served as a communications relay for man-made rovers exploring the Martian surface. Now, according to the American Space Agency, the probe moved behind Mars while tracking the interstellar object, then suddenly stopped transmitting and started rotating in an unusual manner as it reemerged within view of the Earth. NASA said it appeared that whatever happened to the MAVEN was on the far side of the planet and has also caused the probe's orbit around Mars to change as well. Well, there you go. Aliens don't want us to discover what's on Mars. Another Gary Sinise movie that might be closer to the truth than we realize. I actually love that movie. What was it? Mission to Mars? Or it wasn't Mars Attacks, although that's a hilarious movie too. I can't remember. Hell, I'll watch anything with Gary Sinise in it. What am I saying? Now, NASA does admit that this particular probe and satellite have had problems in the past, so it might not be alien comet interference, but I'm going with, aliens. Why not? It's 2025. I'm going with aliens. Now, in the dumbest thing, and UK, you're going to have to explain this to me. I did see this story, but what the actual heck? An 86-year-old has been fined $335 for littering after he spit out a leaf that blew into his mouth. Now, call me crazy, and I know I'm an outside observer, but it seems like the UK at large might have a few bigger problems to worry about than this guy spitting out a leaf. Now, I get it. Social contract, politeness. We don't want people spitting on the street. It's gross. I hate it. Believe me, I come from rural Indiana where you find people with you think this is Coke. Well, mine is Diet Coke, but you think this is pop, but no, it's people spit jug as they go through ew. Okay. So I get it. But this man was not spitting to just spit. He had for the love of God, again, police, I could be wrong. I am an American. Forgive my ignorance, but I think you have some things to be, noticing. An 86-year-old Englishman has been hit with a preposterous fine for littering after two enforcement officers saw him spit out a leaf that had blown in his mouth. Roy Marsh had stopped for arrest while he was walking through a parking lot in the tourist town of Skegness? Oh, crap. On the east coast of England when a big wind blew a reed into his mouth, and he said, "I spat it out, and just as I got up to walk away, two enforcement officers came up to me," Marsh said. Now, the bewildered octogenarian said that when the officers accused him of spitting on the ground, he responded by calling one of them a silly boy. I would too. However, Marsh quickly realized they weren't joking, and he was fined 250 pounds or 335 American dollars. It was all unnecessary and out of proportion, he told the BBC. Now, Marsh said that the fine was expected to be reduced to 150 pounds after appeal, but he was still required to pay the full amount. County Councilor Adrian Findley described the case as one of many examples of officers being heavy-handed with enforcement at the seaside town, which does rely heavily on tourism. They're taking it too far, Findley told the outlet. If I came here on holiday and was given a $250 fine, I wouldn't risk coming back. There needs to be discretion, and we can't expect elderly people to chase crisp packets down the road if it's windy. Now, Findley said the officer should have been able to determine whether the incident was, a genuine accident or, a jerk. Because I can see, again, it's a tourist town. They want to keep it clean. I get that. Going after a gentleman, taking a leaf out of his mouth, I don't get. Again, I'm pretty sure you have crime elsewhere. Now, the council added that enforcement actions are closely monitored and patrols are not targeted at any specific demographic, nor are they discriminatory. Oh, I'm glad the council graded themselves and decided themselves were great. Nothing to see here, as we all know. So there you go. I don't litter in Skegness. Well, that town that I said that I probably mispronounced, don't go there and litter because it would just be bad. And if you think you're having a bad day, in our final story, at least you're not having to share your house with a bear that doesn't want to leave. A 550-pound bear has been living under my house and it doesn't want to leave. I mean, by and large, probably better than some of my college roommates, to be honest. It's been a very tough stretch for this California homeowner. Sleep deprivation, strange smells, and severe damage Along with things that go bump in the night, it's all part of what it's like to have a 550-pound bear living in your crawl space. It's a lot more stressful than I thought, Ken Johnson told the Post Thursday, 11 days after the burly bear made himself at home in the crawl space beneath his Altadena home. And the beast, nicknamed Unbearable by Johnson's friends, has not left since. Oh, he's hibernating for winter. he's like, I will stay here. This is my house. You have cable, and you have, oh gosh, what are those? A love sack? I'm staying here to hibernate. I mean, if I'm a bear and I have to choose between a cave and a basement, I'm going. Now, Johnson stressed that he likes wildlife, but it has been tough, with the bear struggling to make his way in and out of the very small crawl space, along with, essentially living on top of a bear. So there you go. The bear seems to be digging out under the crawl space. Now, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife have been trying to help Johnson remove the animal from his crawl space by setting up what's known as a Cambrian box trap filled with fried and rotisserie chicken, apples, oranges, shrimps, sardine, and peanut butter. They're very effective, the California Fish and Wildlife spokesperson told the Post, but the massive metal trap filled with the bare necessities isn't exactly, helpful for Johnson. It smells really bad. It's good food, but it's not something you want to put all together. And it's strong smelling and it makes me nauseous. Now, Johnson lives with his cat, Boo, who's been investigating his new furry housemate. That cat's like, there's something in the basement. This cat, look, we have never seen a cat this nervous and suspicious since, oh gosh. Was it Bojangle? Jinx. Who was the cat in freaking Aliens? I'm having a brain fart. Was it Jax? Look, I'm just saying this cat needs hazard pay. This cat's going to need therapy and gummies along with his, his owner. The cat's able to smell the bear through the vent and hear it, and he'll run and try to see what it is. Now, since news of the Altadena bear broke, Johnson's house has been bombarded with camera crews, newscopters, and photographers, along with looky-loos that are all trying to get a glimpse of the animal. But all the attention seems to have spooked the bear, and he seems to just be hiding now in the crawl space. So there you go. I do hope that the bear is able to get out. I am sure that it's not easy to have a bear that invaded your house. Now, I have found some beautiful clips for us today to celebrate the season. And the first one, I would just like to say that I have never felt more gangster in my life. And you guys know that I'm as gangster as anyone who's watched 8 Mile halfway through. Like, my street cred is non-existent, in fact, negative. But I, in fact, have more street cred than these two. But the wonder of Christmas, rapping with these guys. No terrifying puppets today, just cringe.
I'd like to present to you King of Rock, Mr. MC Hammerhead. Mr. MC Hammerhead. Okay, MC, let's do it.
I would like to apologize for the caucasity of this production. First of all, I would like to claim that though I could have been responsible, I was not in fact responsible for these choreographed moves. This is the level of my rhythm and dance abilities. I drop it like it's tepid, and so do these guys, but I did have no part in this.
Yo! 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 Yo, ho, ho! It was the night before Christmas and all through the night. Now the creature was stirring, not even the stockings were hung from the chimney with hopes of...
Okay, I just have a feeling that this gentleman's tiger mom is wringing her hands in shame. Like, she can't go to mahjong anymore. Like, he was supposed to be a violin phenom, and he's over here rapping with mascots and like the rejects from Showbiz Pizza and Chuck E. Cheese.
St. Nicholas to me. I said, yo!
He said, yo!
I said, yo!
ミセ、もしもし彼は僕のこと何言ってるか分からないから彼は本当に困ってるよ。
Please tell me Quaaludes were involved in this, and if so, why didn't we pass them out to all of the classroom?
キャノン、ヤシカ、富士カ、ホンダ、日産、ダッサン、イスズ、三菱、川崎、川バンガー、忍者、ニンテンドー、ライスクッカー、スモーレスラー、He's big, I like sake and sushi, Toyota, sushi and sake is a Japanese wine, sake too.
I feel like I'm gonna get a note from Japan that I've committed some kind of hate crime here. He's just saying, I mean, that's like me if I were trying to speak about something in Japan. I only know the brand names of things. I'd be like Samsung, Subaru. Wait, is Subaru Hyundai? Oh wait, no, that's Korean. Kia, Mitsubishi, Nintendo, Sailor Moon. What in the hell is that? What am I watching?
Me baby, yo.
Gotta be good, gotta be good. He said, yo.
I say, yo mama.
What? Y'all, I don't know what name brands are. This man just made a Yo Mama joke. We are replaying that. This might be bring peace and harmony across the world.
I say, yo mama.
What in the AARP was that audience? But we have another celebration, and as a mom of 6 children, I don't recommend doing a party, an actual party when your child does learn to potty train. But if you do, here's one way you can, celebrate the miracle of your child finally using, not diapers.
Time.
Yay, Lizzie!
She is a super duper pooper.
This is child abuse. Who didn't call CPS when these lyrics were made? Who agreed to this? Who looked at their agent and said, "You know what? I've got a part for you. You get to sing about fecal matter." Do what now? I thought I was going to get a part in an Eddie Murphy. What?
We can party with the best. No more diapers to get in her way. We are very impressed.
She is a super duper pooper.
She knows when she has to go. Take a bow, she's a big girl now. She's the best pooper we know.
That's it. New merch. Best pooper you know. Super duper pooper trooper. Good God. Who wrote these lyrics? How high were you? And what level of Cheech and Chong, dimension were you on? You know, every morning I want each and every one of you to wake up and realize you have achieved much. You are a super duper pooper in my book too.
The party's about to begin. Come on, let's go.
I have a couple of questions. Why are my parents, really proud of me pooping? Also, why are you talking to my dog? Now, if you guys don't know where I get all of my clips from, Found Footage Festival, they find all of these clips. I just, go through and ferret out old ones, but they do have a show. Check them out, Found Footage Festival. They are hilarious. And then, as always, we do like to end with just a little philosophy. And wouldn't you know it, our fabulous possum guru has In Search of the Ancestors, which I am sure won't lead to horrifying, semi-possum positioning by the tail. Buckle in, you guys.
Hello.
What in the Moses and the Red Sea, Hare Krishna selling Avon is going on here? I'm scared.
Thanks to Bill Mayer, Ellen Paquette, Clay Carr, and many other fine artists, along with Crazy Opossum Lady, who, oddly enough, is not me. We bring you the rogues gallery of our illustrious ancestors. Prior possums responsible for making parody and satire who and what they are today. And what a debt of gratitude we owe. We'll begin with officious Antophilia, who's a stickler for meticulous
Okay, I want all of the possum Victorian pictures and I want them on velvet. I need the entire collection. I need all of the royals. I want possum. You know what? Every single masterpiece, I am going to create the possum Louvre, and it's just going to be everything with the face of a possum. Forget Mona Lisa. Why does that possum smile? I'm oddly mesmerized. I'm not going to lie. I don't hate it. I would actually put it up in my room.
marsupial manners and proper opossum protocol. This is why they eat with such elegance and grace. And this is Cornelius the Conqueror, war hero and court hero.
No, that's not a possum. That's a gerbil. Are we saying there was some cross-species love? Was there a little guinea pig / possum love? Because that does not look like a possum. We are learning the truth. Oh no, it's going to be a Jerry Springer episode up in here, y'all, because that is a gerbil or a ferret.
To very distant cousin, many, many times removed, the pious but misguided
Okay, no, that's nightmare fuel. What in the unconsecrated Adobe is this? What in the unholy Canva art is this? No, this is terrifying. I take it back. I don't want this picture. I don't want
Marciano marsupial of Mauritania, spinning myth after myth of misunderstandings. This is their illegitimate offspring, Blossom.
I can deal with Blossom.
Of great beauty, but forever misplacing that one pearl earring. And here we see the moment the possum created God.
That's it. I need this print. My print. This print. I want it as my wallpaper. All right, that's it. I am on a mission. I am going to see if Amazon has a possum puppet. This has made my day. You know, it's been a pretty craptastic week to do the news, but this has made my day.
Musical gifts come down from such violin virtuosos as Opie the Elder. Every family honors the timeless beauty of mother and marsupial. And we know how daughters tend to turn into their mothers. Possums come by their history on its neck.
Okay, I love this picture too. I love this picture. I'm dramatic. The possum's dramatic. This is me as a possum. Put a wig on it. We're done.
Naturally. Here we see great-great-great-grandma Sarah Heartburn, emoting as only a marsupial can and must. And here is our dapper Uncle Dutch, responsible for propagating myriads of mini marsupials across multiple continents. Oh yes, Uncle Dutch got around.
Okay, first of all, they don't look like possums. They look like weird. Like someone had the vague idea of what both a rat and a horse look like and decided on neither. I'm pretty sure she's not allowed in Tokyo anymore.
What lineage would be complete without the noble peasant?
That's it. I'm getting this and sending it to my mom.
Working the land, salt of the earth, everyone. This is Great Uncle Peabody Possum who, well, exploited the salt of the earth. And then, of course, those many kindred spirits who fell over to the dark side and continued.
It's my inner child or my inner bitch. I don't know. They're very closely related to each other in my inner psyche. They kind of have a bleed over effect. So it's my inner bitchy child. It captured my likeness quite well. Boudica.
Screaming into the night. We're going to have to go and read.
I mean, it looks like me every time Mr. Mo says, "You want to go to Walmart? You want to go out and people?" My inner me is doing that, unless it's Hobby Lobby.
Retrieve them one day. Well, until next time. Bye. Bye-bye.
Well, I'm not terrified. No, I don't want to watch The Expert. I love watching The Expert. What's wrong with her neck? You know, that's not the first question I would ask. My question would be, well, many things. Why do you have possums? Why did you start YouTube? How can I be when I grow up only with cats? I mean, there's a lot of questions I would ask her, just none of them normal. Also, why? Just why? Just one question, why? That being said, some housekeeping. So I did have today, I thought we were going to be doing sentencing in the Brian Walsh case, but no, we are not. So today we are going to be starting out a new trial, well, new to us trial. So it is the Nevada versus Devin Michaels. and we are going to, it is the boyfriend beheading trial. So this is already, she's been adjudicated guilty, but it has beheading, it has OnlyFans, it has all of the dumpster fire that a Petty Express, trial needs. And it also performs one very good, one basic function, which is that we can watch this trial, and that means that I am not covering a child involved trial right before the holidays. So I will see you guys at 10:30. We will do the opening statements. Those are about an hour and 20 minutes. You know me, so it'll probably take 2 hours. But we will get into that case. I have a notebook. We will start taking notes. I believe the necular head region. I believe, again, I only did a cursory look at what this was regarding, but it seems like Devin wanted to get rid of the father to date the son. I don't know. It just looks like a ball of crazy, and it's already done and over with while we wait for Courtney Clenny. And let's see, we've got Laura Owens and all these other big cases. I figured we'd go with a case that we can just watch at our own speed and have fun with, that isn't in any way related to Massachusetts, which is I am okay with. So I will see you guys at 10:30. We will be getting into that case. There are certain new trials that are starting, and we might look at some of the trials that are starting this week. There is one, that is involving a child that I do think would be a good trial to look at later. I just really don't want to do anything involving littles right before the holidays. So that's the trial we will be looking at, and hopefully you guys will see me there. Tomorrow we will be doing the sentencing, so we will be heading straight from Mornings with Mo into the headings or the sentencing with Brian Walsh. So it will be at 9 tomorrow when we start. But other than that, life kind of goes on as normal. We will be dealing with this trial, hanging out, having fun. I will probably spend today and this evening making a bingo card for this. So that's what we will be doing. And I will see you guys at 10:30 today and then tomorrow at 8. And we will be ready for the Brian Walsh trial, sentencing, and victim impact statements. So hope to see you there tomorrow. Bye, you guys.